Howdy folks, I'm Darren. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles here at Cross Timbers Farm. Glad to have you with us on this absolutely gorgeous day. There's no such thing as a bad day.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Me and Oakley are here on the farm, and Oakley is our farm dog. She is a good one, and she's getting old. She's getting old. Oakley's 10 years old, and she has been a loyal employee of this farm for 10 years. We've had her since she's a puppy. She's a good one. All right, we got work to do today. Oakley's always around keeping me company on the farm. Going in here to the hay room to get us a shovel. And I'll explain what we're doing with the shovel here in a minute. We keep a radio playing in our barn and in our hay room. If you've got livestock around, chickens and goats and sheep around a barn, there's nothing better than leaving a radio playing at night. It's human voices, and it sounds like human activity going on in a barn at night, and it keeps predators away. There went our barn cat, just flying out of the hay room. If you don't have you a barn cat in your hay room, you need to get you one. Go to a shelter somewhere. Let me turn this radio down. Go to a shelter somewhere in your area and adopt we like tabby cats. They seem to stay around the farm better. They don't wander and roam as much. And get you a barn cat and take good care of it. Get it fixed. Peanut, we've had her for almost 10 years too. And when we got her, adopted her free from a shelter, all we had to do is just pay a little adoption fee, and she was already fixed, and boy does she keep any mice or anything like that away from our hay room. No dangers of mice getting in your hay and stuff like that. She keeps everything out of here. We're gonna go in the hay room here and find us a shovel. While we're here, I want to show you this hay we got stacked up in the barn. As soon as I slid this barn door open, oh, it smells so good in this hay room. We got fresh, premium quality hay in it. Let's go in. We got feed barrels there. Look at this hay. There's some, it's twine wrapped. All that back in there stacked is net wrapped. You see it? It's even net wrapped back in there behind the twine wrapped. It's stacked all the way to the ceiling. We got right now about 65 bales in here. I could just stand around here in the hay room and smell this hay all day, but we got work to do. Keep your hay stored in a cool, dry place. We built this hay room addition onto our barn, probably 6 years ago, and it's been worth every single cent we paid for exterior decking screws and lumber, sliding barn door hinges and things. It's been worth every penny of it. Keep our hay stored in a cool, dark, dry place. case you couldn't already tell, and I'm sure everybody can, today's ballast box building day. We have our cheap Chinese ballast box, and it is a cheap ballast box. All it's got to do is hold weight. Capacity's like 800 pounds. This thing was beat up pretty good in shipping. Wasn't packaged very good to be what it is. If you'd have been shipping a basketball, it'd have been fine. When you're shipping something that weighs 100 and some pounds, or 80 pounds, whatever it weighs, and it's made out of metal with all these corners, knowing how these shipping companies handle stuff, it should have been packaged better than it was. I've had to fix it in one corner where it was dented pretty bad, but it's functional. It's still gonna work. Why do I have it here flipped up on the picnic table upside down first? It has two tool holders. On the side, you can stick handles of shovels or rakes or whatever down in for just a tool holder. And we're not going to pour those with concrete. Those are going to be empty to be able to use them. And if you leave this box sitting out anytime in the rain or weather, water's going to collect in the bottom of that and it's going to rust this box out. So we're going to drill a hole first thing down through the bottom through those pipes. So if water goes down in that area, it can escape and not sit there and rest. So that's going to be our first order of business, is to drill 2 holes. And let's get at it. I'm going to locate where these holes are. And first I'm going to drill like a little 1/8 inch pilot hole. Now let's go with a bigger hole. Want water to drain out a little better than that. Water gets in there. I hooked this ballast box to our 3-point linkage just to make sure everything lined up and it worked. And it does. It's category. I've got the category 1 pins on it. And it does come with some adapters, spacers to make it go to Cat 2. But it's got my tractor is a Cat 1, and so it's got the Cat 1 pins on it. Here's what you get when you buy cheap Chinese stuff. Yesterday when I hooked this to my 3-point just to make sure it all lined up and worked, the 3-point pins here on the box are so low down that my 3-point wouldn't drop that low to hook to it. What are we gonna do? Every time we set this thing down somewhere and park it, it's going to have to be set on some blocks or set up on something so the 3-point will reach back to it. That's what you get when you buy cheap Chinese junk. But anyway, it is what it is. And we're gonna set it. I've got some 6x6s and 4x4s, and we're just gonna set it up on it to get it full of concrete. And wherever I decide to park this thing, it's always going to have to be parked up on a pallet, or I'll just keep these blocks handy around the barn and I'll always park it on these blocks. I guess is about the only thing I can do. All right, and I may eventually take these blocks and attach them all together so it'll just sit. You can just pick the whole thing up together, attach it with some screws where that'll just always be its parking spot. So we're ready to tape up our tool holder holes, and we're going to use some Gorilla Tape. And this door, I really don't have no use for the door. I'd just soon it not even be there because I'm not going to be using sand or gravel or anything that's ever going to come out of it. But I understand why they put it there. If someone does want to use sand or gravel or, you know, scrap metal, lead, chunks of lead, whatever. But we're going to put some Gorilla Tape around this door opening on the inside, and then some over our holes to keep concrete from coming out or going down in those. covered up, and our door is taped shut. We're ready to start mixing concrete. I'm going to be mixing concrete the old-fashioned way, with a hoe, a garden hoe basically, and a wheelbarrow. And I've got a water source right here from our well, from our farm well, and we're going to be mixing it by hand the old-fashioned way. And we're just going to have to, when we got a bag mixed, shovel it in there. So let's get started. No time like the present. These are 80-pound bags of concrete. When I was a boy in high school, I worked after school for a block mason. What I did was make mud, and man, they worked me to death. Try being a 16, 17-year-old boy. Of course, I was good and healthy back then. Try to keep up with 2 to 3 grown men laying block, and you the only one making mud. You'll find out what work is really fast. And having to get the consistency right every time. Back and forth. Our ballast box is about half full. I have put a couple of pretty good size, football size rocks in it too. And I put some old rebar in it. But I can't figure out why it's took me so long to make a ballast box for it, or buy one and then get it filled. Because I can't tell you how many times, probably both hands and both feet counting, that I've pushed that tractor to the limit with loads. Not just the lift capacity of the loader, but the tractor itself and just the weight of it. Stuff on the front end. I've never really had a problem with weight on the back of it. That tractor's got a really strong 3-point for a 32 horsepower tractor. However, the loader's weak. And the tractor itself is more the problem than just the loader, because the tractor is a compact tractor. It's a 3200 L series Kubota. And it's not that big, but it's not tiny either. We're not talking about a B series or something. It's an L series. But it still does not have the physical weight of just the tractor to keep the tires on the ground and outweigh whatever you're going to pick up. And we do have ballast in the rear tires. They're loaded. And that's not enough. That ballast in the tires is really good, but it puts the weight right over the axle. You need the weight actually at a fulcrum hanging off to get more weight off that 3-point. And a couple of weeks ago, when Kyle from Carver Equipment came over, he drove up here from Clinton, North Carolina, and he brought us a net wrap baler and that accumulator for us to review, to give our opinion on. And he had that net wrap baler on the bed, well, both of them really, but the accumulator's not that bad heavy. It's heavy, but not terrible. He had both of them on the bed of a flatbed truck, a 3500 truck. And we had to unload it with this L3200. And that baler already sitting up on a flatbed, and we got the tractor up on a bank and reached over, and you have to go over the top of it and pick it up, and it was just about a disaster. I thought we were going to roll my tractor and tear Kyle's Carver Equipment's baler all to pieces. It was close. It really was. So, like 2 days later, I ordered a ballast box. And that's one of the reasons I ordered a cheap one. I was just in a hurry. I was like, I got to get some kind of weight on this thing. And the sooner, the better. So we bought the ballast box, and it's a cheap Chinese box. And we went and bought Sackcrete, ready mixed concrete, 80-pound bags, and we're filling it now. We're about half full. And I've put some old rebar and some different things in it too. I hope I got enough concrete. If I don't, at the last bag, I may have to start putting some bricks and some more rock and different things down in there. We'll see. We're on our very last bag here, and it's going to be close. If I put some rocks in it, because I realized it's going to be close. I've got some old steel down in there too. I had a little bit of some old scrap steel, and I put it down in there. This is going to be close. I'd like to get it level to the top so water won't stand in it. If that be at all possible. In case I had to leave it sitting outside overnight or something and it rained. I'll go get a finishing trowel here in a minute and smooth the top up. It's going to be really close. I'd like to kind of round the top off a little bit too, sort of dome it, so water will run off of it. It's going to be, I think I'm going to have enough, believe it or not. I don't think I would have without a few rocks in it and that steel. This is probably more than 800 pounds with that steel in it and some concrete. I'd say it's probably closer to 900. Steel, concrete, and some really heavy, I mean really heavy rocks. Not a whole lot of rocks, but enough. I want to keep it humped just a little bit in the middle. We got one more field to cut for hay back here, and we're hoping to cut it at the end of this week. And when we get all that cut, raked, baled, and the bush hogging done, we got a lot of bush hogging to do of all this foxtail. I'm not going to bush hog all the rest of this foxtail in our main field and the test plot extension, and there's some along the fence rows out here in the west field. I'm gonna wait till we're done with the west field so I can bush hog it all at once. And we got some bush hogging to do after all the hay's done for the year. Then this tractor has got to have a bath. It's filthy. When I say the tractor's filthy, what I mean, it's not, if you just look at it, it's not really filthy, it's just dusty. It's I keep it blowed off, but it's still kind of, if you get to looking, it's dusty. Like the instrument cluster panel and things of that nature is just dusty. We're done with our ballast box build. All we're doing now is just waiting on this concrete to dry. We're gonna leave it sitting here for at least 24 hours. And I foresee that I use this ballast box probably more than anything else as far as an attachment to our tractor that's on this property. Just because of the weight of our tractor, I can foresee that as long as I'm not using a 3-point implement, if I'm just hauling stuff on the forks or just doing things with a bucket or whatever, this thing's gonna be on my tractor probably 90% of the time. If another implement like a hay baler or hay rake or something like that is not attached to my 3-point, this is gonna be. It's probably gonna just stay on it until I unhook it to hook something else up. I think it's gonna be that beneficial to us. Why I didn't do this before now, I don't know. But I think it's gonna be very beneficial to our tractor and what we do around here on the farm. It's gonna add a lot of stability to our tractor. Thanks for being with us, I really appreciate it. We got hay cutting coming up in the west field in a few days, according to the weather. The weather forecast looks promising in about 3 more days to start cutting. There's gonna be a window. It's looking, that's subject to change at any moment. But the way it looks for now, it looks like we're probably gonna be able to cut in about 3 days. So, and then naturally tedding and raking and baling after that. So thanks for being with us, and come back with us in a few days for some more cutting hay. We'll have the drum mower hooked back up and we're gonna be going at it, and then we're gonna got a lot of bush hogging to do once we're done with the baling. Thanks for being with us, I really appreciate it. I pray God blesses you and your family, and we pray you all have a fantastic day.